had 2 mortgages. I had this kennel, and it made no revenue. I got 14 dogs in the house because the kennel's not suitable for dogs. Stressed out of my absolute mind, gonna fail, I'm gonna buckle. Hardcore panic attacks, and I wanted to quit. The picture in my head was...
Tell us about the business side of buying a 20-acre facility. How did you pull all that together?
I had like a little Cape Cod that was like 1,100 square foot Cape Cod with like a really long, skinny 300-foot long backyard. And I would have like 10 to 15 dogs there, where I was just like boarding dogs for people, going out training all the time. I was like, I need a dog kennel. I got to figure this out. I went to a commercial realtor first. And I said, what do I do for this, right? Find me a warehouse or something like that. Let me find something that we can get zoned appropriately. Right. And warehouses are crazy expensive to like rent. Yeah, you have one. And they're not ideal for what I do for a lot of reasons. We found one that was going to work. It was in a good location. The realtor thought we could get the zoning and all that stuff. And it was like, I think it was like $9 grand a month or something like that. Simultaneously, I was looking at properties in Baltimore County. Like I was like just looking at places. I was like, it'd be cool if I could have like a farm, right? And I've just happened upon a place that was a dog kennel. The owners were elderly. They had it listed for way over what it should have been listed, and it had been on the market for like multiple years. And it was literally the last property in Baltimore County. It was like right up to Carroll County. So it's like kind of out there, but anyway, it's like it was expensive for Carroll County, but like, Baltimore County reasonable. Most expensive house on like a not great street, So like there were a lot of things that weren't going for them. And it had this enormous dog kennel behind it that was like busted up. Yep. And it was they were using it. It was like the business was active, but it was busted. And I started offering them, this is a wild story, I won't speak numbers, but I started offering them basically $50,000 less every month.
Are you kidding me?
Or like every other month. And like, I don't even know if this is a recognized strategy in like anything, right?
It is now.
But
it is now. You're welcome.
But literally, I guess no one else was offering. I stopped for a while because they were in like talks with somebody, or they were in whatever it was like, under contract with somebody, and it didn't go through for zoning issues, which I found out about later. Eventually, they just came back to me and they were like, well, can you go back to the one you said last month? Right? Yep. And I said, I spent the money. I like bought a truck or whatever, and they were like, okay, like can you go up like 15,000? I was like, all right. So I stole the place. That made it work. Right. Nowhere near $9,000 a month for me. Right. And it covered my house.
Yeah.
It covered this property and the business. Amazing deal. I got in there, and the first year was insane. I know why businesses fail in the first 5 years. I know why businesses fail in the first like 2 years, right? I've now started like 3 or 4 different businesses, right? I'm not like a serial entrepreneur. I kind of like just my first business like dissolved into my second business. My second business dissolved up into Wild Acres. And then, it's just kind of that first year, 2017, was the absolute hardest year I've ever had in any reason, right, whatsoever. I had 2 mortgages. I had the other place still. I had this kennel, and all the new responsibilities of it, and it made no revenue. So lots of additional responsibility, 0 additional revenue. The previous years they had been at a loss, and it wasn't even a lot. Like it was a 10,000 square foot building, right? And they were bringing in 100,000 a year. And spending like 130 on payroll, just on payroll, right? The first year, 2017 to 18, I bought in like October. We did like the opposite of that. We spent 110 on payroll and we made 130 or something like that. And I was like, this might work. But also the stress, unimaginable, crippling stress when like I got 14 dogs in the house because the kennel's not suitable for dogs. Yeah. For my dogs. Right. I was allowing the kennel previous tenants to operate there. So they rented out part of the kennel to a rescue. And so 20 of the kennels were in a rescue. And then the other 50 kennels were clients who were going on vacation, this, that, whatever. It's not the type of facility that you'd want to have your dog at. It wouldn't have been the type of facility. But there were people that that were still coming. Heat went up at the kennel, hot water heater not exploded, but like leaked everywhere at the house. I had a bunch of dogs on board, and I was at like, this is talk about rock bottom. That was my rock bottom, like emotionally sober, stressed out of my absolute mind, and I wanted to quit.
I am dead inside.
Panic attacks, hardcore panic attacks. The picture in my head was crawling into the back of a closet at like my mother's house, and just like that, like I just wanted everything to go away. I was like, it's too much stress,
any calls.
too much pain.
Yeah.
I'm like, just take it all back. I literally just like want my mommy. That's how much stress, right?
Did drinking ever occur to you then?
Slightly, but I was more inclined to like darker alternatives, honestly. But yeah, I was just like, can't do this. It's not going to work, right? Like this is going to just fail. I'm going to buckle. Meditation and deadlifts. So meditation every morning, and if you ever right now, I have not been every morning with the new baby and everything. It's a little bit crazy.
And you're in a better place. That's huge.
Right up until that, I absolutely like 30. I mean, and I've been getting some 30 minutes of meditation in the mornings, but not every morning. Deadlifts at peak arousal. So anytime that I ever am like in peak anxiety, peak arousal, like just full stress, my belief is that I'm thinking about things that are not real, and that I'm worried about things that are low probability events, and they're causing a high degree of arousal, and I go do something that will require full physical attention, you know, whether you just rep it out or you're doing heavy weight, whatever. That like got me through some period of time where I could just like, you know, it's like white knuckling is the deadlift part. Meditation is the cure. Like that's the fix, right? More meditation equals less likelihood of high arousal events. So if you're walking around at an 8 and a 10 is going to bring you to panic attacks and making really bad decisions, whether that's drinking, using, you know, self-harm, other things, buying things online at 2 o'clock in the morning, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No one does that.
Shop therapy.
Yeah. Can't afford to walk around at an 8. So we need to, that's what I start my day and try to break that down to whatever you can do. And meditation for me drops you a few points, but you can't do it in the moment. I mean, you can, right. It's just not as effective. You might drop a point. So you get yourself from a 10 to a 9, but the time it works best is before.
That evolution from a craftsman, right? That's what we call it. When, you know, you were a dog trainer and the business was fine, but it was secondary to the extreme focus on the craft of dog training. So you were a craftsman. And then when you have to switch over and make that a full business entity, you know, we'll say on this podcast a lot, until you sign an IDOT, an indemnified deed of trust, well, they'll take your house if you blow it. And that fear is what you expect to experience. We know exactly what it is. That's legit. Like in making that move from craftsman to then handling all of the business side. Some days you're like, I just wanted to train dogs. How did I get here?
I am the one who knocks.
Right? I just wanted to train dogs. And it sounds like you had that feeling along the way.
Lots of times. That's all.
It's still, right?
Yeah,
it'll still sneak in too, without question.
All the time.
I just want to sell bags of air. I'll say that too, right? That's what I do.
All the time. I mean, I remember when I told my mom, like early on, like, this is what I'm going to do. I want to do this. And I said, I think I can make 50 grand. It's like, and if I can make 50 grand, I don't care. It's all good. That was like my fuck you money.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which like, you know, I would have sold myself short, you know, but the truth is like part of the enjoyment of my pursuit, right, of success or greater success is, I guess I just hold this thing in my head where I hope that my kids, I hope that my wife, I hope that whoever, like, people like remember me when I'm gone as something, right? It's all potentially, it's all meaningless, but I do hold that in my head. Like the legacy is important to me.